the night the hollow began to glow. The sun was beginning to set. Over the Old Stump Garden, the clearing was quiet and gentle. Tall trees curved softly around the open space. In the center stood the old tree stump. Its top was uneven and shaped by time. Luma arrived first, carrying a small bundle of flower petals. She stepped lightly across the soft grass. Knox was already there, sitting on the fallen mossy log. He looked up when he saw her. "You're early today," Knox said softly. Luma smiled. "I found these on the way," she said gently, opening her paws to show the petals. They were pink and violet and pale gold. Knox hopped down from the log. "They're pretty," he said calmly. Luma looked at the old stump in the center. "I want to try something," she said quietly. She climbed onto the stump. The wood felt warm from the last light of the sun. "I want to make a perfect circle," Luma said with a small, hopeful smile. Knox nodded and stayed close. Luma placed one petal on the flat part of the stump. 1, 2, 3. Then another, and another. She moved them carefully. She adjusted the space between each one. Knox handed her more petals from below. "It's almost done," Knox said softly. Luma leaned back a little to look at it. The circle was nearly perfect. A gentle breeze moved through the trees. One petal lifted into the air, then another. They floated down to the grass. Luma blinked. "Oh," she said quietly. She picked them up and climbed back onto the stump. She fixed the circle again. The wind came back. This time it was a little stronger. Several petals scattered. The circle opened in 2 places. Luma froze for a moment. She looked at the empty spaces. "It keeps falling," she said in a small voice. Her ears drooped slightly. Knox looked around the clearing. The wind moved more strongly at the top of the stump, but near the ground, the grass barely stirred. He picked up one of the fallen petals. He placed it gently on the grass instead of the stump. "How about we try it down here?" Knox asked gently. Luma looked down at him. "On the ground?" she asked softly. Knox nodded. "The wind is quieter here," he said calmly. Luma climbed down from the stump. She knelt on the soft grass. She placed one petal on the ground, then another beside it. The wind moved again, but this time the petals did not fly away. They only trembled a little. Luma continued placing them in a circle. The grass made the shape slightly uneven. Some petals tilted to one side. The circle was not as perfect as the one on the stump. Luma paused and looked at it. "It's not the same," she said quietly. Knox sat beside her. He looked at the circle for a long moment. "It's still a circle," he said softly. Luma studied it again. The shape was gentle and a little wavy, but it was whole. She smiled a small smile. "I think it's nice," she said gently. The sky above them slowly turned deep blue. The last light of the sun disappeared. The full moon rose above the trees. The golden mushrooms beside the stump began to glow. One by one they brightened. Their warm light spread across the grass. The light reached the circle of petals. The pink and violet colors seemed to shine softly. The pale gold petals looked almost magical. Luma's eyes widened slightly. "Oh," she whispered. Nox watched quietly. Fireflies drifted lazily through the air. The old stump garden felt warm and peaceful. The circle did not need to be perfect. Under the glowing mushrooms, it looked beautiful. Luma and Nox sat side by side in silence. They simply watched. After a while, the night grew darker, and the air became cooler. Luma stood slowly. "It's getting late," she said softly. Nox stood too. They both looked at the glowing circle one more time. "It looks even prettier at night," Luma said gently. Nox gave a small smile. "I'm glad we tried again," he said calmly. After a while, they walked toward the path that led out of the clearing. At the small fork in the forest trail, they stopped. "Good night, Nox," Luma said softly. "Good night, Luma," Nox replied gently. They each walked toward their own homes. In her warm little room, Luma curled up under her blanket. She closed her eyes and remembered the glowing petals. In his quiet house, Nox lay down and listened to the soft night sounds. He thought about the circle shining in the grass. In the middle of the forest, the old stump garden remained calm. The golden mushrooms continued to glow gently. The circle of petals rested peacefully on the ground, and the forest held them softly through the night.